Have you ever sat in silence and wondered, why does this part of my body always ache when my heart feels heavy? Or questioned why no medicine seems to heal what feels deeper than flesh? Today, I'm not here to tell you your body is broken. I'm here to help you hear what it's been trying to say all along. Because in Buddhist philosophy, illness is not a punishment. Pain is not failure. And the body? It is a sacred messenger of karma. Your body doesn't scream to hurt you. It whispers to awaken you. What if your back pain isn't just physical, but karmic weight you've carried for lifetimes? What if the tightness in your throat isn't coincidence, but a truth you've been too afraid to speak? This is not just a video about health. It is a journey back to your soul through the temple of your body. Each ache, each symptom is not random, it's a story. Your story. So take a deep breath, set aside judgment, and let your healing begin not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Let's walk this path together. But lesson 1. The head, seat of ego and perception. Let's begin with the crowned head, the mind, the place where thoughts, race and stories are born. Chronic headaches, tension behind the eyes, a strange pressure that no scan explains. Have you felt it? In Buddhism, the head is the seat of ego, clinging to identity, the belief, I am this, I know that, I must be right. When we misuse our intellect, when we let pride overtake clarity, the energy accumulates here. You may be thinking too much, planning too hard, controlling too tightly, and your body? It tightens in response. A woman once told me, I spent years trying to be the smartest person in every room, and then the migraines began. They didn't stop until I learned to bow to life, to mystery, to what I didn't know. The Buddha teaches that humility is the beginning of wisdom. The moment we release our need to be right, the pressure begins to lift. So if your head hurts, ask not, what's wrong with me? Ask, what am I refusing to let go of? Healing begins in silence. Not the absence of noise, but the absence of mental war. Meditate. Bow the head not in defeat, but in reverence. And you may hear something softer, deeper, truer. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that watches them arise and fall. And in that awareness, the healing begins. Resetting 2. The throat, the center of truth and expression. Have you ever felt a lump in your throat, not from illness, but from words unspoken? The throat is more than just a passage for breath and food. It's the bridge between heart and mind. It carries our truths, or it carries our silence. In Buddhist psychology, when we suppress our voice, when we lie, when we flatter to please, when we swallow our pain to avoid conflict, energy stagnates here, and the body speaks. Chronic sore throats, tension in the neck, or even losing your voice, these can be karmic echoes. Not punishments, but invitations to speak what your soul has long held back. There was a man who told me, for years I said yes when I meant no. I smiled when I was breaking. My voice, my truth was locked away. Then the thyroid issues came. And his healing didn't begin with medicine. It began when he finally said, no more. The Buddha taught right speech, not just kind words, but honest words. Words that liberate the soul, not trap it. So ask yourself, what am I afraid to say? What truth have I buried so deep that even I've forgotten it? Healing the throat is not just about speaking louder, it's about speaking truth. Even in whispers, even to yourself. When lesson 3, the heart, the temple of compassion, and emotional memory. Sometimes it's not your heart that's physically failing. It's your spirit that's heavy. Chest tightness, palpitations, a sudden pang when you remember someone or something. The heart remembers everything the mind tries to forget. According to Buddhist wisdom, grief that is unprocessed, betrayal that is not forgiven, and love that is withheld or broken, these become energetic imprints. And the heart, quite literally, bears the weight. A woman once came to a temple after losing her partner unexpectedly. She had no diagnosis, yet her heart raced uncontrollably. She said, "I don't know how to breathe without him." The monk didn't offer medicine. He offered this: "Breathe not for him, but for the part of you that still loves, still hurts, still lives. Let love open the wound wider, and in time it will open the soul." The way of the Buddha is not to escape pain. It is to enter it with eyes open and heart soft. To heal the heart, don't shut it down. Sit with your grief. Touch it gently. Speak to it as an old friend. Say, "You belong here. I won't abandon you." Because healing is not forgetting, it's remembering with compassion. Besen Lesson 4. The stomach, the digestive center of emotional karma. Your stomach isn't just digesting food. It's digesting life. When we feel anxious, afraid, or ashamed, it's often the stomach that churns. Bloating, acid, nausea, tight knots we can't explain. Why? Because the stomach is where we process more than meals. We process criticism, rejection, change. We stomach situations we wish we could escape. We digest decisions we never really wanted. In Buddhist insight, the stomach symbolizes control. When life feels unpredictable, we grip tighter. When we fear the future, we try to force the outcome. And the body loyal as it instances in response. A young man once told me, "I kept pushing through my anxiety, kept forcing everything to work, and the acid in my gut got worse every week." What cured him wasn't a pill. It was presence. He learned to pause, breathe between bites, and say, "I allow life to unfold. You are not weak for feeling nervous. You are human, but when the stomach speaks, it's asking you to soften, to slow down, to let go of outcomes and trust the unfolding. Eat with mindfulness. Breathe with intention. Digest your emotions not with force, but with loving attention. Because healing doesn't come from pushing life through your gut. It comes from releasing the need to control it. Lesson 5. The liver, the reservoir of anger and resentment. There is a quiet fire burning inside many of us. A fire we don't acknowledge. A fire that doesn't show up in our words, but in our symptoms: irritability, tension, inflammation, restlessness. That fire is anger. According to traditional Buddhist and Eastern medicine philosophies, the liver holds the energy of unresolved resentment, rage, and even guilt. Not just the explosive kind of anger, but the slow, simmering kind. The bitterness we swallow, the grudges we never admit we carry. One woman told me she always felt on edge, snapping at small things, fatigued by noon. Her liver tests were elevated, but doctors found no cause. Until one day in meditation, she saw the face of her father, the man who abandoned her family, and suddenly her body began to tremble, not from fear, but from release. That buried fire had finally surfaced, and with every tear, the liver began to heal. Buddha never said to suppress anger. He taught us to transform it with loving kindness, not indulgence. If your liver aches, ask yourself, what pain am I still carrying from the past? Who am I punishing by not forgiving? Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself from the grip of poison. To heal the liver is to cleanse your emotional fire through mantras, through compassion, and by letting the past be what it was without letting it define is. BAD, Lesson 6. The kidneys, root of fear and survival. There's a specific kind of tiredness that sleep doesn't touch. It's deeper than exhaustion. It feels like your soul is always bracing for something to go wrong. This is the exhaustion of living in fear. In Buddhist energy teachings, the kidneys represent your foundation, your sense of safety, stability, and trust in life itself. When fear becomes a lifestyle, when we're constantly scanning for danger, preparing for the worst, the kidneys bear the burden. This is the karma of abandonment, of unresolved childhood trauma, of surviving rather than living. One man I spoke with had chronic lower back pain and adrenal fatigue. He worked 3 jobs, supported everyone, and trusted no one. Underneath the hustle was a child who grew up in poverty, believing the world wasn't safe unless he controlled everything. His healing began when he sat with his fear not to fight it, but to understand it. He placed one hand over his back and whispered, "I see you. You've protected me for so long. But now I choose peace." To heal the kidneys is to stop bracing, to trust the ground beneath you, to stop merely surviving and begin truly living. Let your body exhale. Let your spirit come home. The universe is not your enemy, it is your witness. And it's been holding you all along. Besen's 7 Lessons 7. The reproductive organs, sacred energy, not shame. There are stories held in our wombs. There are memories imprinted in the hips. And there is silence wrapped around our sexuality. Not sacred silence, but the kind born of guilt, misuse, or trauma. The reproductive organs, whether you identify as male or female, not just physical. They are spiritual centers of creation, intimacy, and power. When they're out of balance, we may experience shame around pleasure. We may avoid intimacy or cling to it desperately. We may feel creatively blocked or emotionally numb. Buddhism, especially in its Vajrayana traditions, does not shame sexual energy. It honors it. It teaches us that this energy, when misused, creates karma of deep fragmentation. But when respected, it becomes a gateway to profound inner transformation. A survivor of abuse once told me, "I hated my body for years. I disconnected. I was afraid of love. But slowly I began to speak kindly to the parts of me I wanted to forget. And as I reclaimed them, my soul began to bloom." You are not your trauma. You are not your past. You are a sacred vessel of life force itself. To heal the reproductive organs is not about fixing. It's about remembering that your sensuality is divinano dirty, not shameful. And from that awareness, creativity, joy, and connection begin to flow again. Honor your body's wisdom. Honor its memory. And let it return to wholeness gently, with reverence and without rush. 2 Lesson 8. The spine, the pillar of inner strength and alignment. The spine is more than bones and discs. It is the axis of your soul. In Buddhism, it represents the path strong, steady, upright. When it bends under the weight of burdens, we're not just misaligned physically, we're spiritually exhausted. Chronic back pain, stiffness, or imbalance often reflects karmas of over-responsibility, martyrdom, and boundary collapse. It's the weight of, "I have to fix everything." The ache of, I must carry everyone. One woman shared that she had a persistent mid-back pain that no treatment could relieve. Through introspection, she realized she was always saying yes. Yes to extra work. Yes to emotional labor. Yes to being the strong one, but never yes to herself. As she began to set boundaries with grace, not guilt, the spine slowly began to realign. The pain didn't vanish overnight, but she stood taller not for others, but for her own truth. To heal the spine is to reclaim your verticality, not through force, but by letting go of what was never yours to carry. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to say no, and in doing so, you finally stand in your own sacred center. B7 Lesson 9. The legs and feet, the foundation of purpose and forward movement. How often do we feel stuck? Not just in life, but in our bodies. Heaviness in the legs, tingling in the feet, a strange sense of losing direction. In Buddhist insight, the legs and feet represent movement, purpose, and your relationship to the path ahead. When we avoid our calling, when we fear the future, when we deny our intuition to step forward, the body resists motion. This is the karma of stagnation, self-doubt, and disconnection from purpose. A young man once confided that every time he tried to make a big decision whether to move, to change jobs, or to follow his heart, his legs would literally feel weak. I thought I had a circulation issue, he said. But I realized I had a clarity issue. He was terrified of failing, and that fear anchored him in place. When he began walking with mindful intention, even just 5 minutes a day, something shifted. Not just in his legs, but in his soul. You don't need to know the whole path. Just take the next step, consciously, gently. Because purpose is not always a thunderclap. Sometimes it's a whisper in your feet saying, go here, just begin. Healing the legs and feet is about trusting the ground beneath you, knowing you're not walking alone, and understanding that even the smallest step forward can reshape your entire destiny. Lesson 10. The eyes and skin perception and sacred boundaries. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, but in Buddhist understanding, they are also the mirror. They reflect not just how you see others, but how you see yourself. Blurry vision, eye strain, or sensitivity may point to karmic imprints of denial, self-judgment, or refusal to see life and self with clarity. Likewise, skin condition itching, rashes, chronic inflammation often signal violated boundaries, energetic intrusion, or deep shame about visibility. A woman with eczema told me, I always felt exposed, like I couldn't protect myself from people's opinions. It's like my skin reacted to what I couldn't say. Your skin is your spiritual shield, and your eyes, they are not meant to look outward in judgment, but inward in truth. Buddha taught us that true seeing is not with the eyes, but with the heart. If you've been afraid to be seen, if you've hidden your gifts, your wounds, your truth, know this: the world doesn't need perfection. It needs authenticity. To heal the eyes and skin is to accept your own image, to soften your gaze toward yourself, to rebuild your boundaries, not with walls, but with awareness. You are allowed to be seen. You are allowed to be safe. And you are allowed to see yourself with the same compassion you so easily give to others. Your body is not broken, it's speaking. Take a moment right now, pause everything. Not just your scrolling, not just your thoughts, but the internal war you've been fighting for so long. The war against your own body. Maybe you've called it broken, weak, betraying you. Maybe you've numbed it, criticized it, ignored it. But here's the truth. Your body is not broken. It's speaking. In Buddhism, the body is seen not as a prison, but as a sacred map. Every ache, every sensation, every lingering symptom is not a mistake. It is a message, not from your biology, but from your karma, from your soul. The tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your jaw, the pain that no MRI can explain, they are not signs of disorder. They are invitations. Invitations to listen, to slow down, to turn inward. Because the body never lies. You may not need another treatment. You may need truth. One woman said to me, "I tried everything for my fatigue. Pills, diets, exercise. Nothing worked until I sat with the question, what am I still carrying that's not mine?" That question changed everything. The body is your lifelong companion, not your enemy, not your obstacle, your teacher. Let your healing begin, not by fixing, but by listening. When the body is heard, the soul begins to rest. And when the soul rests, the real healing begins. What the body is really telling you. Let's remember what we've uncovered on this journey through the sacred landscape of the body. The head A, reflection of ego, overthinking, and misaligned perception. Bow in humility, not defeat. The throat A, blocked truth. Speak from the heart and let your voice become medicine. The heart A, temple of compassion, sometimes bruised by grief. And let love breathe again. The stomach where fear and control lodge. Digest life slowly. Let go. The liver, holding your rage. Release resentment and find fire without destruction. The kidneys, a reservoir of fear and fatigue. Ground yourself. Choose safety over survival. The reproductive organs, carriers of shame or sacredness. Reclaim your creative power. The spine, a mirror of boundaries. Stand tall, not for others, but for your soul. The legs and feet, your connection to direction. Trust the next step. The eyes and skin, perception and protection. See clearly, love deeply, set sacred boundaries. And above all, your body is not broken, it is speaking, and it is time we finally listen. Let the healing begin now. If something in your body stirred while watching this video, if you felt seen, if you heard your soul whisper, "This is what I've been waiting for," then don't just let that feeling fade, honor it. Take 5 minutes today. Sit in silence. Place a hand over the part of your body that's been speaking the loudest. And ask, what do you need me to know? You don't need to fix anything right now. You just need to begin listening. If this message spoke to you, please share it with someone else who needs to know. Their pain is not a punishment. It's a message. Subscribe to the Enlightened Mind for more soulful insights on the hidden wisdom of karma, healing, and awakening. Drop a comment. What part of your body is asking to be heard right now? Let's create a space of healing and truth together. Your body isn't betraying you. It's trying to bring you back home. And you, dear one, are ready.